doing well, and I must say that when I was at Uncle White's, what they call it, wonderful performance. Production is how they used to call it on campus. I don't know if it has changed. They
Yes.
still call it production, right?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, it was fantastic. And the icing on the cake was unexpectedly Edimwa performed to my satisfaction. I was so shocked, excited anyway.
I have a question about the use of the word unexpected. Is it that your tastes don't run in that direction? Or you thought you wouldn't satisfy?
No, in the first place, when Raymond saw me come on stage, the look on his face was like, yay.
Don't come and shoot for that.
What is she coming to do? Then when I started, I could feel him saying, and she you know, and she you know. And then he gradually relaxed.
Even if she in a crank, it would have been a burnt offering. Holy and acceptable to the Lord.
Nice.
But Uncle White's A Crazy Ride was not the only highlight of the weekend.
Yes, there was the back to school as well, which was really exciting.
The Joy FM Back to School Fair was amazing. The Providence Event Center over-delivered on the promises.
Indeed.
So anyone called me over the weekend and she was saying, Charlie, the way the place was packed.
Yep. I mean, when I got there, I was surprised. I was.
Yeah.
There were lots of people there. There were so many things there. They had milk chocolate digestives, which was my highlight.
Oh, so the children that you went with, the shoes for them and the books for them
did not matter.
It was milk chocolates digestives.
Oh, but the cake matters as much as the icing.
Mother of the Year.
Thank you.
Okay, let's do front pages now. Daily Herald first.
Okay, so the front page of the Daily Herald. Confusion hits Catholic bishops over National Cathedral. Palmer Bako left hanging by church. Akufo-Addo gets cooked. Free SHS award in Rwanda, and Ransford Jampo rejected as UG political science head.
And now, the Chronicle is reporting this morning, Nunu Mensah plays JM secret tape. His supporters can attack me also like they are doing to Kojoyanka, but I don't care. This is General Nunu Mensah, 3-time Chief of Defense Staff of the Republic of Ghana. And 2.2 billion earnings from cocoa is used to import food in 2016. And let's look at the other story. NPP losing corruption war. KUST Don is the one saying so on the front page of the Chronicle.
The Business and Financial Times, 1D1F requires $10 billion to thrive. That's according to Professor Douglas Boating. BOG acts to curb banking fraud. The value of reported fraud hits 190 million Ghana cedis. Sign into African Trade Insurance Initiative. That's from the Activa boss, and he says if we do that, we can attract more foreign investors.
And we can stay in the banking sector. The Gold Street Business is reporting this morning, Bank of Ghana to remove long-serving bank chieftains by end 2018, and government to hold 20% shares in home-based career. That is the airline that is coming on board. You know how to say wonderful good morning to Kofi Ada.
Joseph Kofi Ada.
Yes, from to aircraft.
From
centers.
Sanitation Ministry to Aviation
but
Ministry.
the June major improvement he promised, though, he didn't deliver on that part. But he's moved, so
he's moved. Why are you giving
I want
the
to
man
remind
pressure
him
still?
that Ghana Beyond Aid must address rising inequality. That's on the front page of the Go Street 2. But 130,000 benefit under Power Pact. That is according to the Go Street Business, and that's the final story on the front page.
The Daily Statesman, massive growth in agriculture. Sound policies yield 8.36% growth. Anyidoho others are bought mercenaries. NDC questions loyalty of Deputy General Secretary. And President is back from China with goodies.
Now, the Ghanaian Observer, the Ghanaian Observer is reporting this morning, free SHS will help create many busiers from poor families. Vice President Baumia is the one saying, and Collins Amankwa, I call him Sir Randy, decorated with 2 awards in the USA. That's the Menchia North MP. Pressure mounts on Controller and Accountant General to leave office, and 8.36% agricultural growth in 2017. It's as a result of prudent policies. The President of the Republic of Ghana is the one speaking here as he grabs top award over free SHS.
On the front page of the Daily Guide, President hails planting for food jobs. Auditor General snubs Nana over 640 million Ghana cedis. Contractors audit. Nunu Mensah punches Mahama, and GRA in bed with tax defaulters.
The Daily Heritage is reporting this morning fallout from South Africa 2010 FIFA World Cup. 2010, Derek Boateng sues John Pencil over $20,000 borrowed money. And also on the front page is Otinibi residents celebrate Day 2018 Homoho. And Gabi has been saying that there's hardship in Ghana, in the People's Republic of Ghana.
The new crusading guide, fresh trouble for Kennedy Ajapong. Former state attorney smashes Asin Central MP with 25 million Ghana CD lawsuit. Pressure piles for controller to go. $14.4 million revenue loss at port is worrying. That's according to the Tema. Manche. And tension in Odotobri, NPP, MP chairman secretary allegedly orchestrating for the removal of the DCE.
Ghanaian Times has the big story, banner headline, Kofi Annan's remains arrives today. And they are telling us that they will do a pull-out on Wednesday on him too. Big story on the front page. But there are others you should be interested in too. The Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, together with the University of Ghana, they have already celebrated Kofi Annan, and also the Kotoka International Airport Terminal 3 to commence full operation on September 15. That's next week, Saturday. This weekend, Saturday.
This weekend, actually.
Yeah. And finally, from me, on the front page of the Daily Graphic, Agric gets boost 500 million Ghana cedi as loan insurance to farmers. Court finds businessman for unlicensed insurance firm operation. And like Raymond said, Kofi Annan's body arrives today.
My last story on the front page of the Finder is 6.8 million Ghanaians are poor. This is according to the Ghana Levy Standard Survey, 7th round of the Ghana Statistical Service. We'll give you details later.
Great. So, anymore, let's begin with this talk about the city.
Okay, so this story is actually about the city politics that's going on between the NDC and the NPP, as both parties are claiming bragging rights over management of the local currency. Now, as of close of last week, the city had lost about 5.68% in value depreciation in a year-to-date analysis to major trading currency, the dollar. Now, some trends for you to take note of. In 2010, the city to the dollar was 1.43, 2011, 1.51, 2012, 1.81, 2013, 1.92, 2014 2.94, 2015 3.78, 2016 3.92, and now in 2017 4.36. Now Bloomberg is reporting that this is a worldwide trend, with the year-to-date depreciation of some other currencies not doing so well, like the British pound at 4.29 and the euro at 3.52. Now the NDC are blaming the vice president, Dr. Baumia, who is the head of the economic management team, and Felix Ofosu Kwache, who is a former deputy minister for communication, posted recently on social media platforms, Twitter, saying that the vice president engaged in cheap talk, as far as plans for strengthening the local currency were concerned. The NPP hits back, and they are saying that the inflation has been at the lowest level in the last 4 years, and interest rates are lower than they were under the Mahama-led NDC. They're also insisting that the GDP rate is higher than it was under the previous NDC, and the debt to GDP ratio is lower than it was under Mahama's government. Now, you remember that a few months ago, President Mahama taunted the NPP government, saying that the cedi to dollar exchange rate was at 4.7 to $1. And in response to that, Dr. Baumia said that Mr. Mahama's criticism only exposed his lack of understanding on issues bordering on crucial aspects of the economy. So there's a lot of back and forth between the NDC and NPP when it comes to the city and the politics surrounding this.
It's one way to look at it, is really looking at the politics surrounding the exchange rates. But the reality is that businesses are affected by this every single day. So let's see what the experts have to say to us this morning. Dr. Eric Osei-Sibe is an economist, and he's joined us on the line with some insights on this. Dr. Osei-Sibe, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Daniel.
So, what are the drivers for this depreciation?
Well, I think there are a combination of factors, both internal and external factors. I mean, what we are seeing is not too new to the Ghanaian economy. More often than not, we every year tend to experience this rapid depreciation of the currency, if I may call it so. I think it's largely due to the internal imbalance, the fact that we tend to demand more foreign currency than we supply, and with also the fact that our economy is very susceptible, very vulnerable to external shocks. And so much as the central bank tried to put in place measures to arrest the cedi, the internal mechanism often do not allow for such intervention to have a lasting solution on the currency. And so what I think really currently what is going on, sometimes it's quite difficult to tell, because if you look at the fact that we appear to have received enough inflows over the last couple of months, given the IMF money coming in, given the fact that Ghana was successfully able to raise about 2.2 billion sovereign bond, given the cocoa syndicate loan. So one would have expected that the cedi would experience some appreciable stability. We have for many years, for the first time in many years, recorded a surplus in the trade balance, which has led to significant buildup of foreign reserve. Yet we are still seeing some amount of depreciation. And what I think really is the case, as I mentioned earlier, is the demand pressures. I think there's a lot of attack on the cedi now, given what is happening in the economy, particularly from the banking side. It appears that people are now speculating more on the cedi than in buying financial instruments from the banking sector. And so that might explain a little bit of this depreciation. We are also seeing in the international global market that the U.S. dollar is strengthening. I mean, the U.S. economy has picked up significantly, and you could also see that many countries, the currencies have weakened against the U.S. dollar, and Ghana will not be an exception in this regard. Yeah.
So, Dr. Siesebe, what you're telling us is that all the things that are happening in the economy right now should point to a stronger cedi, an increase in trade surplus, our international trade reserves are high, and indeed, if you look at this time of the year, for instance, in years past, this time of the year, usually the cedi does better than, say, earlier in the year before the Christmas boom begins. What do you think we should do differently now that we are seeing these strange circumstances?
I think the measures are both the short-term and then the long-term or medium-term measures. I mean, of course, the short-term measures will be the central bank interventions to the economy. I think the central bank should, by now, come out to put some confidence in the market. I mean, with some kind of announcement as to what measures it is undertaking to arrest the cedi. I think that will be necessary because in forex management, the announcement effect can be far-reaching. I mean, the expectations of the market players is very important. Therefore, I expect the central bank to come in to announce what are the key measures that it is putting in place to arrest the cedi. But let me say that what is happening is not that this economy hasn't seen before. I mean, if you do a comparative analysis, you realize that indeed this year the currency has to, in relative terms, perform quite better than the previous 4 or 5 years that we have seen.
Right.
But I mean, the market is quite apprehensive because of what is happening, the domestic happening, and therefore there's a need for the central bank to come out with some kind of announcement and to try to assuage, the apprehension a little bit.
Speaking of the central bank,
to develop some new forest policy.
Right.
I mean, strengthening the FX management system. I think as it stands now, it's quite loose. I mean, anybody at all can walk into a forex bureau and exchange any amount that it wants. I think it's a high time that we begin to, demand some kind of documentation. Elsewhere, when you go to a forex bureau to exchange, you are required to produce your passport and to tell the person that the purpose for which you are going to use the money for, and it's key into a computer. So the central bank has the ability to monitor the real-time, exchanges that are going place. So if it sees any outliers, any unexpected, withdrawals or exchange, it can call for questioning. And I think if you don't do that and we allow the black market to fester, to, be sprawling these days, I think there are too many activities outside the mainstream banking and forex sector. The black market, the para market that has been created is also part to be blamed, because these markets are feeding on these expectations of the cedi depreciating, and they are cashing in with people who have the huge cedis to exchange.
Right.
So they tend to drive the demand in the sector other than what the central bank does. So for me, what really is driving this instability in the forex market is the huge informal and the black market activities of the forex. And I think that the central bank, it's a high time the central bank comes out with a policy to strengthen the forex management system to ensure that documentations are required in whatever transactions that you are dealing in as far as the forex is concerned, so we can engender some transparency and market-based operations in the market.
Finally, Doc, speaking of the central bank, in the past, they have injected dollars directly into the markets, $20 million a day. Would you advise that they do same this time?
Well, of course, to arrest the short-term deviations or the currency depreciation. But that should not be a sustainable solution. Obviously, this is just a short-term measure to arrest the cedi. What we need to do is, much as the central bank has to pursue demand policy measures to ensure some stability in the short term, we need to be more aggressive in regard to long-term or medium-term measures. We don't seem to be doing so well in our export drive. These days, you hardly hear of export promotions activities. I think that is a key sustainable measure that we need to pursue, diversifying our exports, the non-traditional exports. What are we really doing? What is the policy direction? It is key to ensuring that we have a sustainable, forest stability over a long period of time.
Thank you very much, Dr. Eric Osei-Sibe, for joining us this morning. And he's an economist and a lecturer. He was giving us his thoughts on what is happening with the cedi. A quick thoughts there that he shared with us. He believes that the black market and the growing informal market is driving the cedi depreciation we are seeing, because, quite frankly, on a large scale, we are doing everything else right. Now, the central bank should put money in the economy as was done previously. That's also according to Dr. Eric Osei-Sibe. We're going online now, and the online news review is brought to you by Zenith Bank. In your best interest, Goyle Good Energy. Download the Save Doctor app now from the Google Play. Save Doctor, the future of better medical care. Now, you've got great love for your vehicle. You want the engine to last longer and perform to its maximum. It's okay. Goyle has the new super synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubricants for you. These specially engineered superior engine oils work efficiently on all modern petrol and diesel engines. They clean, protect, reduce fuel consumption, prolong oil change intervals, and enhance engine performance from startup till you switch off. Go to any Goyle filling station and grab the new Goyle Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes. Engineering innovation for your vehicle has arrived. Goyle Good Energy. Now, did you know that paying school fees can be as easy as ABC? Did you know that Zenith Bank provides the most reliable school fees payment service? Well, now you know. Visit any of our business locations nationwide for easy and prompt school fees payment, or visit our website www.zenithbank.com.gh to pay school fees via Zenith Global Pay. If you are a Zenith customer, Zenith School Fees Payment, your stress-free solution to paying school fees. Zenith Bank, in your best interest. Before we go online, let's take this next story, Raymond.
Yes, you want why the banks, their directors are supposed to stay beyond a certain period of time. Now, let's look at this clearly. You cannot, going forward, if you happen to be the chairman of a board of a bank in this particular case, you can't stay beyond 12 years. If you happen to be a non-executive director, you can also not stay beyond 12 years. Indeed, for 9 years, of course, for the CEOs, you cannot exceed 6 years. Last week, the Bank of Ghana released new guidelines. This is to strengthen corporate governance and make sure that the space works better. Indeed, it was released in April, but they did not put any timelines to it. Now, if you want to stay on, you have to justify to the Bank of Ghana within this week. You have only 1 week to justify to the Bank of Ghana why you should stay on beyond 2018, or else beginning 2019, all banks should have those who have exceeded 12 years for chairman of the board, and also those who have exceeded 9 years for those who have played roles as non-executive directors, 6 years for CEOs too. You cannot stay on beyond that time. And that's some banks come to mind. I'm sure you know that.
Of course. Thank you very much, Raymond and anymore. You guys heard what happened with Serena Williams over the weekend, right, at the US Open.
Yes.
It was trending all over social media. Well, you want to check out this op-ed by Oswald Azuma. It's titled Boxing Ring Serena Williams. She's just a sore loser. That's on myjoyonline.com. Interesting views there. Irregularities at MDA's cost nation close to 1 billion Ghana cedis. That's also on myjoyonline.com. Stay with us. We'll be right back with the BBC News.
It's a plus in green irrigation system.
Mommy, sorry, what could it from?